Hey my lovelies, today's going to be a special video since it's getting closer to Halloween and I want to do something fun. I mean, don't get too excited because you might get super crazy excited by the title, but this is just me talking about my favorite urban legends and some things not only that have happened to me, places where I've been and things like that. So, hopefully it's interesting. First off, I'm going to start talking about my favorite urban legends, scary stories, creepy stories, and yes. The first, which I know you all know, I mean you'll know every one I'm talking about, but one that you had to have tried. If you didn't try this, you're lying. The first urban legend is Bloody Mary. Okay, I remember we had sleepovers and we'd always dare everyone to go into the bathroom and do the Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And everybody would always make a big deal about it and it would just get crazy and we'd all flip out. I was scared of the dark, so I had it in my head that I was going to say her name 3 times and I was going to see her because I'm in the dark. I'm going to see things I don't want to. But a while ago I looked up the story of Bloody Mary and I got a little bit more details and information about it. Originally, when the story first arose back in the olden days, girls would take a hand mirror and then have a candle and they would walk up a set of stairs backwards, and that would cause them to see the face of their future husband, or they could see like the Grim Reaper or a skull, which means that they would die before they actually got married, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, not cool, but how the story got changed like that, how we just go into the bathroom or anywhere with a mirror in the dark and say the name 3 times and this image of this woman is supposed to appear, and there are stories of her like just screaming, or you see her bloody image, or then there's stories of people that have gotten strangled, or she drinks your blood, or she's done something to you, which is even cooler. So that's my favorite and one I won't do. Because one, I'm afraid of the dark, so that just makes all cray cray for me. The next story is the man in the back seat, which I'm sure all of you have heard of also. Now, this has happened in movies and in stories, and this creeps me out a lot, okay? Because this is not, can really happen, and instead of being an urban legend, I feel like it's real, because people can do this, okay? It's not so far-fetched. The story is a woman was driving down the road, and this car is behind her, flashing at her, getting close to her and trying to get her to pull over. The lady thinks that this person is trying to get her. Well, in the end, it revelates that this lady was getting pulled over because the man behind her had saw someone in the back seat, like a shadow of a man that had a knife. Okay? And when the girl got to her home, she had raced to her house, and the guy stopped her and said, I saw someone in your back seat. And it came through that when the man had tried to get her to stop, the man had hid in the back seat, which ultimately saved her life. Now, me, when I go to my car every morning, and when I get it when it's not dark, I don't check, but every morning when I get in my car, I check the back seat and the trunk to make sure that there's no one in there. I have a Jeep now. I used to have a car, which made it so much easier because it was just a back seat, because you can't get from the truck into the back seat. Well, now that I have this Jeep, I have the back seat, and then I have the open area in the back where I have stuff. So I'm always looking to make sure that there's nobody in there, because I know I locked my door, but I'm just so paranoid that somebody is gonna be in there. And that goes into another story, which isn't my favorite, but the person underneath the car, that's hiding underneath the car, waiting for you to go to your car, and they have a knife, a hook, or something where they reach out and they just cut your Achilles tendon, which renders you able to not run away. So that just scares me altogether, which is creepy because people will do crazy things like that to hurt someone. These next two favorites that I have are both involving animals, okay? So, the first one, it's kind of, if you do not like hearing about animals getting hurt, anything like that, like me, don't continue or to skip past this part of the video. This next story is most often called Humans Can Lick Too, which is a story about this girl. She was home alone and she had her dog with her. And then she'd gotten woke up in the middle of the night by this sound that she heard. So she walked around into her bathroom and everywhere, and she couldn't find the dripping noise. So she goes back to sleep and she throws her hand over the side of her bed, and her dog licks her hand. Well, she wakes up again, checks around, can't find anything. She goes back to bed, and the dog licks her hand again. Then finally she wakes up, she looks around, and she listens, and finally she hears the dripping is coming from her closet. So she opens her closet to find the dog hanging in the closet with its throat cut, and the blood was dripping onto the closet floor with a note that says, "Humans can lick too." Now this story has always freaked me out. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. One, because I love animals, and two, I don't know. But it's just so creepy because you think that it's your dog or any animal that you have, but it was actually the person hiding under the bed that had killed the dog. There's no continuation of this story. Where did the killer get her to? I don't know. It just weirds me out. So I'm just going to stop there. That's enough talking about that. The next one is called the Doberman, for short. It's about this couple where their dog, they found him and he was choking on something. So they took him to the vet, and this is late at night. And they come home and they get ready to go back to sleep, and they get a call from the vet, and he's worried, and he's like, "You need to get out of your house right now." So they didn't even think about it. They just left the house, and they're like, okay. So they get out of the house, and the vet called the cops for them, and the cops show up, and they're like, "Thank God you got out of the house when you did. The vet had found a finger stuck in your dog's throat." And then it leads on to that there was a robber upstairs unconscious in, I don't know, one of the rooms or something like that, which, because the dog had bit his finger off, he had passed out. So, you know, that's why I have dogs, because they could save your life. And that's really it about stories that I have, because the other ones, you know, you guys know about, like, the hook, where the hook gets stuck in the car door, and, you know, basically anything that happens in the dark scares me, because I am deathly afraid of the dark. So any of the stories involving people getting in the cars at night, anything like that, no. Now we're going to move on to things that have happened to me or I've heard about in my life so far. I went to Mount Aloysius College, and it's a very old college, very religious. It's Catholic, and you learn things. They don't tell you, but you have other students that have heard it and stories that have passed on. Now, I lived in St. Joe Hall, which is in the old part of the building connected to the actual main building. And I was in room 108, and I think it was room 110 that was beside me. It was the end of the hallway. We had heard rumors about that room was haunted because I think it was a nun or a student had killed themselves in that room. They jumped out the window, I think. But we're just like, oh, that's creepy. Because I didn't want to tell you the story to begin with. But, you know, we found it out. And my friend and I were in her room one time, and the door just flew shut. No windows were open or anything. And nobody else had any problems with, like, breezes or anything. So we're like, oh my God. We don't know if it's because it was haunted, the ghost. And the thing was that you don't block the door. You don't have anything on the door. You don't hang anything on it. Like, every picture that she had hung up on it, no matter if she used the tape, those strips, pins, they would fall out. And that was just creepy. there's a lot of haunted, cursed areas. Then in the main building there was this huge, beautiful stairwell. I don't know the whole story. I just know that people had told you not to use it. Like they said, don't go up that stairwell, don't go down it. Something bad will happen to you if you do. Nobody else would discuss any details, so I don't know. Then we go to the bell tower, which is the bell system, like when it rings at the every hour, half hour. Apparently, some years ago, a male student, I think, had committed suicide by jumping out of it, and no one is ever allowed up there. They tell you as soon as you get there, do not try to go up into the bell tower. Nobody's been up there for like some years, and people have said that occasionally they see a shadow or a person up in the bell tower. I did not. I don't want to, because that would freak me out, because I'd be like, I don't want to go to school here anymore. So, moving on to other things that have happened to me or I've heard about. Where I'm originally from is a big railroading town. They have this museum. It's called the Railroaders Museum, and they have all these displays and things like that. And there are many instances of things being moved or broken or of seeing ghosts. I really want to go there. I mean, it doesn't sound that interesting right away, but I want to go to see if I can experience anything, because I love things like that. And in town, there's a story about this woman who, her and her family were hit by a train, but the bodies were never found. And there's instances of people saying they saw the ghost of a woman or figure of a woman walking up and down the tracks trying to find them, which is kind of creepy. At my mom's house, they live in an old house. It's not super old. It's from the early, maybe 1950s, 60s. And we were sitting watching a movie one night, and no windows were open, and it wasn't windy out at all. And next thing you know, there's this of wind. I don't know how to describe it, but you know how you have those blowers where you pull it back and you let it go and it gives you that bolus of wind at you? That's what it felt like, and it scared the crap out of me. And we're like, where did that come from? I don't know, because my stepbrother says that his room is haunted, and obviously he's going to say his room is haunted, not just the whole house. But apparently there was an older woman that lived there that must be the one haunting, because I felt it. I don't really have any personal stories. Not a lot has happened to me, other than I have had things fall for no reason off of tables, and just, you know how you get these feelings that somebody is there? You can just feel them there, like you get goosebumps and your skin crawls and you just know they're there. That has happened to me. I haven't had any major things. I really want to go to some haunted places, like old hospitals and asylums and things like that, because that interests me so much. They're so creepy, and I just want to be able to, I'm not saying that I don't believe in ghosts and paranormal activity, because I kind of do. I just have not seen an actual ghost. And I'm not going to be a disbeliever, because anything can happen. But, I'm fine with just hearing about everybody else's stories, alright? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it wasn't too boring. And if you want me to talk about more urban legends or scary stories, let me know. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Bye.